Thank you for the presentation. My name is Paula Birocchi, and this work was made with Juliana Neiva and also my advisor, Marcelo Dottori. And as it was said before, so this work was an output of this subject with Francisco in the incline. So I'm very proud of this work, and is also part of my PhD that is being developed with Marcelo Dottori in the University of São Paulo. So my presentation will be about the residence time in estuaries, and we did a literature review and also presenting some methods. So as a brief introduction, we can define estuaries as saline mixing zones between fresh and open ocean waters. And it's important to mention that the hydrodynamics and the flushing of estuaries are forced by tides, river flow, also the winds. And there is some papers and some other studies that say that there is an effect of the estuarine circulation on the residence time. And what is the residence time? Here, we define this physical parameter as an average time that a material resides in the estuary before it's carried out to the open ocean. And it's important because it controls the ecological aspects of the estuaries, and it's a good parameter to study timescales of biogeochemical process, for example. And the estuarine regions and the residence time in estuary regions, they are linked to nutrient exchange, dilution, and mix and transport. And there is also other ecosystem features that indicates the interaction between the residence time and biological process. So in this study, we made a literature review, and here we focus on Miller and McPherson 1991 approach that they define the residence time without the dependence of the tertiary concentration. So here, the residence time is defined as the time required to flush out a certain percentage of conservative particles. And another important paper as well that we have studied was about the self model from Liu and collaborators from 2011. And here they used Lagrangian models to inspect and model mixing transport and pathways and the estuary ocean transfer of dissolved pollutants. I need to mention another studies, basically the Langström's model, that use also the particle tracking as an important numerical technique for quantifying this residence time in estuaries. This is by a model that includes the precipitation in the model, showing that this variable is important to be modeling with the residence time. There is also Mike model that includes the tidal influential. So this uses the spring and nip tide at 4 different stages of the tidal cycle, and also the Prisma method in order to estimate the residence time. And last but not least, the ECO model that it was used by Brooks and collaborators in 1999 that uses an approach of particle tracking with the tidal mean residence time. And here I'd like to emphasize this study because this is what we developed in the next steps of this work. So the chosen method, after this literature review, we have other papers as well, but here I just emphasize the ones that most help us to choose the method. We choose the Estuarine Coastal Ocean Model developed by Blumber and Meller, 1987, to compute the time required to flush out a certain percentage of particles in the Cananéia-Iguape estuary. And here I want to give an attention that this estuary is a tidal estuary, so this is dominated by tides. And because of that, we used the calculation of tidal mean residence time. And what does it mean? So basically, the Brooks and collaborators, they developed 12 different simulations during a complete tidal cycle. So for each hour of the tidal cycle, they made the simulation and then calculated the mean, the average value of this residence time for each one of the particles that are released in the estuary. And this study will allow us a better understanding of ecological aspects, including the dispersion of pollutants in biogeochemical cycles. So here are just the steps that I used for these simulations that we did with the estuarine coastal ocean model. And to generate the residence time, then we released one single particle in every grid cell in the first ebb tide in the estuary. And here in the right side, we can see the estuary of Cananeia Iguape, north in the Icapara entrance, and south in the Mar de Cananeia here. And here it's important to say that there is a big contribution of fresh water coming from the Valo Grande channel, that is this channel here, that brings all the fresh water to the system. So here are some results. What I would like to emphasize here is that in this case, we are releasing 3 particles here in this green point in the above figure. And in the figure below, we can see one single particle tracking for one particle that is being released in this green dot. And you can see that the particle is drifting to the north entrance. And we can easily view the influence of the tides in this particle, because if we look in the triangle after 18 hours, the particle was drifting out of the estuary. And when we look again after 6 hours, we can see that because of the tides, there is a movement drifting this particle again for the in the estuary. And after some hours again, we can see that the particle leaves the estuary. So it's possible to detect this influence of the tidal cycle in the particle dispersion. And as the main result here, after releasing every single particle in the estuary, and after doing the 12 simulations in the tidal cycle, we estimate the main residence time. And doing that, we generate this map of tidal mean residence time that show us that particles in the central part of the channel, they stayed longer in the estuary. And in the other hand, in the entrances in the north part in Barra de Capara and in the south entrance in Mar de Cananeia, the particles stayed less time in the estuary, and that is what we were expecting. And if we look some statistics, so the mean value was 90 days approximately, and we have a standard deviation of 7. So we can see that there is a big variation inside the estuary with maximum values of 38 days and minimum values of 0. But here we can see that this value is considered to be lower. So for this period that we simulated, the mean value was 9 days. So the main conclusions is that the residence time allows us a better understanding of particle dispersion, biogeochemical cycles, and also interaction with ecological aspects of the estuary. And it's a good approach to monitor the water quality. So for example, if you want to see how long a pollutant or a bacteria concentration stay in the estuary, it's important. And we can detect areas with high residence time, which means that the pollution or the particle or, for example, microplastics is being kept inside the estuary. And for future work, we want to estimate the residence time under different scenarios. So we will do summer and winter simulations. Also, we will look for occurrence of storm tides, for example, that is important during frontal systems, and also atmospheric blocking, the one that occurred in 2013 and 2014 for the region of the South Brazil Bight is important. And also we will study under different climate change scenarios, looking to sea level rise and also the decrease of precipitation that is estimated by the IPCC scenarios. And also we want in the future to couple this model, the econ model, with the open drift, and then we could easily do more simulations for the residence time in a rapidly, a faster way using this model. And that's it. And I'd like to thank the CNPq for the scholarship, the Incline for this opportunity, also Francisco for the invitation, the University of São Paulo, also all people from the Coastal Hydrodynamics Laboratory that is being developing the research with me, and also the Estuarine Coastal Society Association that it was where I had the opportunity to publish this work, and it's available in this book as a chapter book. So thank you very much. And if you have any questions, I'm happy to answer.